First thing, so Issei is going to give a lecture today on zombies and hallucinogenic drugs. What we're getting into now is just looking at contemporary scientific accounts of the witch hunts. And this is going to become clearer why we're doing this, but the main reason is to say, well, look, there's always these claims that somehow it's religion that was the problem. Religion was somehow the reason. So we kept looking at, like, spiritual authorities being addressed. This is the reason why the witch hunts went the way they did. It wasn't until the rise of science that we ended up abandoning these beliefs that led to the prosecution of so many people during this period. So we can see science is a good thing. It leads us on the way to truth and goodness. And I want to show how some contemporary scientific explanations of the witch hunts leave room still for the same kinds of social control that we see during the witch hunts. And this is especially going to come out in Thomas's article that we're going to look at next week. So that's where we're going. So Issei is going to talk about some similarities between voodoo and witchcraft and hallucinogenic drugs, which is the article. Exam review. I want you guys to start thinking about when you would like a review, how close to the exam you want it, because the exam is at the end of the exam schedule. So I think it's the 24th, is that? So about the 24th of April, so we can have an exam review sometime around then. So just think about that now, and I'll ask you definitively on Tuesday when you want it. Office hours, we're going to have office hours today. If anyone needs to come by and talk, and if you can't come by at any time during the next hour after class, just shoot me an email, we can schedule an appointment, and I'll be available after classes are over as well. So if you want any time, just send me an email, we can meet up. The schedule, so because we're a little cramped for time, I'm going to do Evans Pritchard and do a little bit more about Sidki on Tuesday, and then I'm going to do Andreski and Heinemann, and so that's going to be the stuff on syphilis as a way of accounting for the witch hunts, and on placebos and nocebo, those effects as ways of understanding what might have been going on. We're trying to explain the phenomena that was happening, so we'll look at those, and then I'm going to do the final lecture doing Thomas Zaz and some kind of concluding notes on the following Tuesday, which is going to be the last class. And April 1st is Tuesday, so if you have any good April Fool's jokes, bring them in. I know it's afterwards, but if you get me, I'll have a prize for you. So that is it. So, Issei.
Yes.
Take it away.
Great.
Is that what you said? Take it away.
So, who believes in zombies? No one?
Who what?
Who believes in zombies?
Who believes in zombies?
Yeah. No one's believing in zombies?
Like the living dead?
Yeah. That's, yeah. Nobody believes in zombies? Oh, this is handout. Yeah. Who doesn't believe in zombies? Oh, wow. This is rare. Normally, if you go outside and ask people, usually it would be almost 50%.
Say, why not?
Okay, so can you tell me what some of the characteristics of zombies? Like, what do you think of zombies? Yeah.
Fleshy.
Flesh eating? Great, yeah. Fleshy. Okay. And? Yes.
Well, they used to, in the 60s and 70s, they were very slow.
Yeah.
And then in the late 90s,
Yeah.
they became quicker.
I know, yes.
Very fast.
Yeah, that's going to be, yeah, answer. Yes.
They either moan brains or they try to eat brains.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's also important. Yes.
They're not very smart.
Sure.
They're not very smart.
Yeah, okay. Good. Yes.
Actually, they get smarter in newer movies such as like Warm Bodies.
Yeah, okay, good.
I'm sure that counts.
Hey, that's still a zombie movie.
Okay, that's normal. Okay.
That's actually good.
Anyone else? Any questions? Okay, so I guess we talk about those. Those are good summaries. Okay, so I wanted to say everyone believes zombies, and zombies, we all know that zombies exist, and that's not in this field, but apparently that's not the case in this class.
Very
But,
impressive.
but yeah, it's normally, well actually, yeah, it's, say, okay, let's assume that zombies do exist. And what's in this field is not whether they exist or not, but what's in this field is that in what manner they exist, and how it is possible for them to exist in the way they are. And, okay, so yeah, there are some issues, like say zombies are often thought of as eating people and attacking people, but if that's all they do, what is their purpose of being? Is it after eating all humans, and if the humanity goes extinct, will there be any reason for them to exist? And is that, would they just walk perpetually, slowly, and that's kind of like, why are we here? So the questions arise. So if this is like, one of the questions we want to ask is whether they are like Captain Hook and Peter Pan, where his story existence, the purpose of existence is that he wants to defeat Peter Pan, and if Peter Pan is not there, he doesn't exist. And so zombies are like that, maybe. Like if we are not here, zombies don't exist. That's kind of interesting, but weird. Okay, so we first need to look at the Vodoun religion, which is the origin of zombies. And so this is what they believe in Haiti and also West Africa, but the one I'm talking about is the Haitian version of zombies. So this is what everyone believes in Haitian societies. The sorcerer comes to the grave and calls the person by the name 3 times. And what happens is that the victim wakes up and comes out of the grave a zombie. And this is made possible by controlling a little good angel, which is principle. It's about the 2 souls that we have. In Voodoo religion, they believe in 2 souls. One is a good, little good angel, and the other one is a big good angel. And the little one is responsible for personality or consciousness, individual consciousness. And what the sorcerer does is to take out this personality, individuality, and control the zombie as he wishes. So the zombie does loses personality or consciousness, but the moving principle, only the big soul is responsible for the moving, for animating the bodies. So this is the reason kind of why zombies tend to be not smart, because they don't have the consciousness or individuality, and they just all they have is a moving principle and just move slowly. But why do they move slowly? Like why can't they just move normally? And the zombies follow orders from the master or sorcerer until they die. But what is the problem with this? Like, can zombies die? What does it mean to die for zombies? And so what questions to ask? Okay, so how this is the thing that you mentioned. I think how fast can they learn? This is important because if the fish is not on how can they learn so fast? And how their fish has to be? Sometimes is there an expiring date? If it's 10 years, it can be. And how do they generate? If you see as in movies, there are so many zombies, but where do they come from? It's just, how can and if this is a species, they have to be able to procreate. And how is it possible conceptually? And myth about zombie powders. Everyone has the handouts? Okay, this has I have my office hours after sunset. This is because zombies are made to work after sunset. But they are also made to go to the church after sunset, so I don't know, do they work at the church? I have zombie powder. This is a recipe for zombie powder, but I encourage you not to try. It's at home because I was growing this, but actually, we'll talk about this later. But in case you are trying, or somebody is trying, or somebody is trying, and accidentally they consume this poison, you need to know some way to, make yourself immune to this. So on the back, you have antidotes. So with this, so in case when there's a zombie apocalypse, you can, if you use, if you have this, you're safe. You know, you should probably prepare this right now before the apocalypse happens. And it's really possible that why do you think that we are having this class of witchcraft like near the campus place? This is, it's possible that this might be actually not so happening, not so disappointing. Okay, so I will talk about the zombie myth, zombie powder. And also, what is important is zombies. Did you know that zombies are actually vulnerable to salt? And so if you ever come across zombies and you don't want them to come across to you, then you can just give them salt, and if they're supposed to be, let them die. But how is that possible? Because, okay, if salt makes them dead, eating human beings will make them dead. So what sort of, it doesn't seem to make sense. Like how is it possible? So yeah, I guess we have this self-preservation principle that we're going to try to avoid anything that harms us. But zombies, if it's true that they eat human beings, because we have sodium content, then so as soon as they eat us, they will die. So that doesn't seem to make sense. What does it mean to be a cannibal? Do they have to belong to the same species? Zombies, that means zombies eat zombies, but what sort of nutrition do they get out of zombies? It's certain. So there are so many weird stuff happening there. And again, how does it die? Can it be eaten? That's the thing I was just talking about. Okay. Now, so the zombie, the rumor is that there's a specific poison in Haiti that zombifies people, and that's the zombie powder. And the way in which it happens is that when one ingests poison in the form of powder or liquid, it will cause him a temporary death, and only to come back to life again in a short while. However, the organs could severely be disabled and damaged, so that's the reason why when they come back to life, because some part of the organs have been damaged or inactive, they move like this. That's because some organs are not really functioning well. So it seems to accord with all the explanations. It seems like zombies are more and more. It seems possible zombies do exist, and I'm trying to convince that zombies do exist by the end of the class. Yeah, and okay. So, the terminology of zombies, by the way, is this is in dispute, but maybe it comes from the zombie in which was the shadow, and it has my handout has some other possibilities, but it's possible because it actually works because the shadow is the one that. Okay. So zombies are said to be the individuals who either do not speak at all or who only communicate little, potentially direct their own activities and do not know their names. This is this makes sense because they have lost the habitual soul, which is responsible for personality. And they are also the resurrected individuals deprived of will, memory, consciousness, speaks with nasal voice. One is a wisdom, and is recognized chiefly by the brain's eyes and mouth and hair. The reason why it's a nasal voice is that it has to do with this voodoo kind of event. Actually, voodoo, the word voodoo actually refers to the specific event of dance ritual where dead are supposed to come back and possess you. So it doesn't really mean that locals don't call their religion voodoo. It's voodoo just means specific event, dance rituals. And so apparently he comes back to life, or he comes around in this dance picture with the whiskey. And for these people around. And he speaks in a nasal voice. And that's probably why zombies do speak in nasal voice. And also there's a local kind of belief that they abduct infants, and then maybe they eat them. I don't really know what happens after this, but that's up to your imagination. But well, yeah, and they actually kind of so in order to take back those infants and bring back to our side, you are supposed to. They believe that you are supposed to put salt on the infants' tongue, I guess, and it's supposed to liberate the infants from this hands of the spirit of death. This is again quite similar to like witchcraft beliefs, people which is stealing infants before unbaptized children. There is a lot of similarities in this zombie examples. Okay, so I mean zombies can't possibly just exist to walk around forever. They have to have some kind of job, obviously. And but what kind of jobs are there? These are the jobs that actually in Lego the zombies have worked. I mean, those are the jobs that zombies have worked in the past. Field work, they are good field work. They sometimes work at the construction site. And bakery, calculation. This is interesting. How can you imagine going to a bakery or the zombies selling you a chocolate?
Are you saying
Yeah.
they're actually like recorded cases
Yes.
where zombies are doing like
Yes.
field work?
Yes.
They work in construction
Yes.
sites. They
Yes.
make, as you say,
Yeah.
pain chocolat.
Well, actually, I made it up.
Okay.
Chocolate made it up, but yes, they work at the bakery. And these are actually, it's true. It's factual, as factual as it.
Inventor servants.
Yeah. That's a good
I
point.
have your soul.
Yes. And so we will see how this all works in times to come. Also, they are made to work as a grave digger and as a slave. Sometimes it's some account has it that people hire zombies to do their homework, but I encourage you not to do that or take exams instead, like ask them zombies to take exams instead of you, because I mean zombies, as we said, they don't know their own names even. So how would you really want them to do their homework? You know, they don't really have a small soul, so it's really not a good idea if you are thinking about it. Okay, so how long do they live? I mean, this is important because at the time of zombie apocalypse, you kind of have to know. Anyone? Yes? Yes?
Anyone else? I assume they can live forever. Like I've never seen anything where, because I don't know much about Haitian
Yeah.
beliefs, but I know that the zombies in Night of the Living Dead just kind of go on until something stops them. But they don't really, they're dead already. So they don't really know how they get a life expectancy.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yes, that's true. But zombies are, zombies are said to work for the slave master until they die. So,
Right.
yeah, they have to die at some point. And also, what comes to be has to go away at some point if they live in Aristotle. And so, zombies, actually, there are two causes of death for zombies. One is by ingestion of salt, and the other one is natural death. But again, natural death, like what is this? Like, okay, so anyone? Yes? Yes?
From any movie that I've ever seen, it's been like removing their head.
Okay. Yes, that's interesting. Yes.
When their master died, they died?
Oh, that's good. Yeah. That's good. That's actually, yeah, that happens, but that's related to ingestion. So, yeah. Okay, we'll come back to this later. Okay. So the answer is zombies usually, yeah, they live only for 2 to 5 years.
That's very precise.
Yeah. And so if we ever, if there's a zombie apocalypse like in the movies, we just have to wait for 5 years and then it's done. So that sort of gives you a hope. And also you have to have some sorts of salt. And so, yeah, 2 to 5 years unless they have consumed salt. And if they are given salt, they are said to awaken and realize their condition as zombies, seek their grave and kill their master in vengeance for having control. So once they are given salt, they come to realize that, oh my God, I'm dead. And I'm being zombified or controlled. And they just come to, well, some account has it that they seek out for the masters and kill the master and then realize that they are dead and they go back to their grave. But yeah, that's kind of, why they go back to their grave. Anyway, this little explanation of this picture. So this is a vocal, the sorcerer, who is also the slave master. You can see in the handout. If you have a handout. Okay. And so I don't know what the rooster is doing here. I haven't come across any record of roosters in zombifying things, but these are zombies supposedly, and this jar, this is where the sorcerer keeps the little bit soul. So that's how he controls this individuality and consciousness. And they are kind of in a row, but I think this just symbolizes that this is just he has control over mind, and the motion is just a big kind of, so it's generally not emotion. Good. Okay, so now we are moving on to scientific sort of explanation and how zombies are possible. And now both both the ingredients and procedures are extremely important. So if you're ever trying this at home, don't skip any part of it. And so number of types of ingredients do differ from region to region. But all preparation for zombie powder include pufferfish and burger toad, soluble toad. Yeah, you see this toad. And tree frog, ground human remains, and several plants and that are capable of irrigating with human skin. And so let's look at one example from the handout. On the back page, test 2. So normally this involves 3 stages of preparation, and usually taking a week to complete the process. So the first degree of preparation includes a toad and a snake being sealed in a jar. About 20 grams of ground centipedes and 2 whole tarantulas mixed with some plants similar to the ones we have listed above. Once they are ground to a powder, they are placed in a jar and buried underground for 2 days. And step 2 is, step 2. Wait, step 2. Yes. 2 more plants locally known as Trembulada or this member. Okay, I don't know. And in the final degree, former plants capable of causing severe typical irritation, a mix as well as a number of tree frog in addition to booger food, toad, and the fish. Okay, so this explains why zombies are often seen as throwing up or vomiting centipedes and stuff. And this is the reason. Now you know. In movies when they throw up stuff, it's not a random thing, it's actually based on fact. So, yes. So once, so when the victim is administered poison, the victim is said to die usually within the next 6 hours, and in Haiti, to avoid the pungent smell of death in such a warm climate, they bury the dead, usually immediately. And so, so I mean, this poison actually makes you, I'm going to explain this later on, but this poison, if you take this zombie powder, you will be paralyzed for, you'll be dead for 6 hours or so. And then you wake up. But this doesn't really work in a place if it's cold and people don't bury the dead as soon as possible because otherwise during the funeral they might wake up in water. So just kind of there's an assumption that people are going to be burying these dead victims immediately after their death. So we 6 hours, 8 hours, maybe 10 hours later on, they would already be underground. Okay, so then the boko comes and calls the body name, and they wake up and resurrect, and comes back to life, so to speak. And what happens to them? Zombies are beaten severely to unconsciousness, and then applied the paste that is made from datura plant, which is vegan. Actually, I have some quotes from the reading. So there's a woman who oints herself with the datura kind of datura ointment, I guess, and she fell down through the force of this. She's attacked by sleepiness, and she falls down and sleeps and into deep coma, and then these guys try to break open the door, and they beat her exceedingly. The force of her sleep was such as it took away from her the sense of feeling, and we departed for a time. So I mean, these are eventually a guy is beating this woman in this. This is a witchcraft case, the reading of hallucinogenic drugs. So we see this sort of beating after applying this poison in witchcraft case and before confession. So this brings us a question like, why is this necessary? I mean, in which cases it's not really clear what is involved here, but in zombie case, it's made more clear because zombie has been made at step 1 already. You don't really need to do this beating. They come up, they do the beating after they come back to life. So why do they do this? And then further, they do this application of paste, which is made from zombies cucumber, which is datura plant. And actually, this is the plant that I was growing in Montreal. It's the same datura. Surprisingly, I found this in Canadian Thailand 4 years ago. And but I went back like a few months later to get more seeds. They didn't have it anymore. But anyway, so this is how it grows. It's really nice, and there's so many seeds in there. And they have flowers too, but somehow it didn't make it to flower. Oh yeah, it did. Anyway, I'm growing it now again. So if you ever do this, in summer, if you come to my office, I might have this. So datura australian contains atropine. Okay. So it has these chemicals that induce a state of psychotic delirium marked by dissociation, acute confusion and complete amnesia, agitation, fascination, and active speech. All of these fit this profile of what zombies, what we take zombies to be. And now I see you're gradually convinced that zombies do exist. So this zombie cucumber is actually the plant itself, and we have the mix pasted sweet potato in candy shop, and this with the sugar plant like a paste. I don't really know what roles that these kind of sweet ingredients play, but maybe it makes it addictive, or it makes it tasty, so that zombies won't refuse to eat zombie cucumber. It's not actually cucumber. It's how it's called cucumbers. Okay, so what is datura? And so this is what it does. Zombies are after the initiation of the baptism, which called actually the baptism of zombie. Yes.
Just a quick question.
Yes.
Presumably this is administered to dead?
So it comes back to life. first you have this zombie powder, which makes you, which paralyzes you entirely. It has a, I should be explaining this one. So this, okay, yeah. In the handout, you see TTX, tetrodotoxin, which is what paralyzes you entirely. And usually what it does is that it blocks a sodium channel in the humans. And gives you an entire paralysis, which is almost indistinguishable from brain death. So even experienced patients can't even really tell the difference. And it quite often happens that doctors don't even tell the difference. So what happens is that they actually are not dead. They are put to kind of paralysis for a period of 8 hours to 3 days. And they will come back to life as it were. So that's what it happens. And when they come up, because their organs have been inactive for a long period of time, sometimes they wake up like this, and that's how zombies move. And as they just come out like this, then they get beaten consciousness, and then they force-fed this paste made out of cucumber, which includes hallucinogenic properties. So just a recap of zombie making, so you won't misstep or skip any. Okay, so first application of the poison zombie powder and there's the victim. The victim is bullied and called upon by the name sometimes by the provoker, and the victim comes back to life as a zombie. Rise out of the blade, followed by severe beatings, application of zombie cucumber, and continuous application of zombie cucumber. And this is again like in the psychological torture section in the reading. It seems like that's what was happening as well. These people who are forced to confess, they were continuously applied this sort of hallucinogenic thing. And so there is sort of a similar kind of a situation-wise similarities there. But, okay, fugu, the tetrodotoxin is that zombie powder, what you use to zombify people in step 1. So what makes you paralyzed entirely for a number of hours or a few days. But the tetrodotoxin is also found in fugu pufferfish, which in Japan we eat a lot. The pufferfish is extremely valued and it's an expensive dish. We eat this since Edo period, but no record whatsoever of zombies have been cited in Japan. And this is weird. Like if zombies are to exist, this is sort of contradicting this. Like why is it not happening? Okay. So yeah, people had been rising from the grave. So yeah, why is this? Why don't we see any zombies in Japan, but only in Haiti? That seems to be a question that might be important. Okay, so yeah, people actually have been rising from the grave in the Edo period. Early 20th century, still people are buried alive or they come back to life supposedly. And this was happening so often that they made a law in 1967 that allows the family of the victims of the fugu poisoning to wait for 3 days, up to 3 days to wait after freedom. So this was actually happening, and these people in Japan too, people actually did die prematurely or die apparently and came back to life. But again, as a result of this law, fewer people are also dead. So that was good. Yes.
Sorry.
Yes.
So, like the zombies that you believe in,
Yes.
this conception of a zombie,
Yeah.
these people aren't actually dead.
No.
They're just poison or Yeah,
Yeah.
just, okay, so
Yeah.
they're actually not
Yeah.
like that stereotypical
Yeah.
sort of.
So yeah, one of the reasons why I'm doing this, I was doing this research is that to kind of show what is, when there are so many similarities with common conception zombies, but there are so many other things that are not really necessarily true, and I wanted to kind of clear up this understanding. But at the same time, it's not really, again, it's not really mistake to think of them as undead, as I will explain more. It doesn't make sense to speak of them in a sense that they are really dead and they kind of. So yeah, it's the distinction is a little bit iffy there actually. So yeah, but these ones are actually the ones who have been paralyzed and come back to life with this damaged organs and lambering speech and nasal voice, and with hallucin. So they are kind of, after this beating, they completely lose their mind and they just at the mercy of the master. And this is sort of kind of zombies that we're talking about. And so yeah, this is what happens. Usually, the PTX places the catalyst, goes to sodium bond channels, the excitable membranes, the nerves and muscles, and causing a new muscular paralysis. And there are some cases where this is in Japan, people have after eating fugu fish, they apparently died, and they were about to have a funeral. But the really scary thing about this poison is that your consciousness is intact. You just completely paralyzed. You can't move any lips or any sort of body. So your consciousness is still intact, but you can't do anything about it. So this guy was entirely paralyzed, and his families are coming to see them and crying over him and trying to prepare a funeral for him, and he wanted to scream and say like, I'm still alive, but they can't do this. He couldn't do this because he was entirely paralyzed, and after 3 days he came back to life and just in time for his funeral. And so what happens is that in some cases the patients have continuous breathing even after extended breathing, maintaining peripheral circulation of blood. Okay. But this isn't enough to make, like if I take this hallucinogenic, or if I take this TPX, zombies powder, and I die and come back to life, it doesn't make me believe that I'm a zombie. And as the same as it was the case with the guy in Japan who woke up after 3 days, he didn't come back to life and gain consciousness or his family that I am a zombie now. So what is happening here? It seems like there is something else that's needed to make myself or the victims believe that they are actually dead and they are actually zombies. What is necessary is that what is necessary is that actually so yeah. So at the stage 1, you have zombie powder and you die, and you come back at the stage 2, and baptism for zombie happens, and severe bleeding. So what happens here is that in this severe bleeding, this person lose mind. He's out of mind completely, and he doesn't know what's happening around him now. It's just he just woke up from dead, and then got beaten by this, and then this cucumber in his stomach. And so now he's completely deranged state of, at this moment he's completely deranged, and he doesn't know what's happening around him. Everyone is talking about zombies, and like am I dead? Am I not dead? We don't really know. And so that's the sort of framework that's happening at this point. And to make him believe that he is a zombie, there has to be some strong, deep social belief ingrained from the childhood or in the society in general that zombies do exist. And so society itself has to somehow believe in zombies, the existence of zombies. It's like when you are a child and your parents tell you that goes after 10 p.m. you go out and then once you come. And that's the most stronger version of this, but if the society believes, and when you are completely drugged and you've been told continuously that you are dead and you are a zombie now, then you yourself come to believe that you are actually a zombie. So, what seems to be necessary is, this is the difference between why we don't have zombies in Japan, but we do have zombies in Haiti. It's because in Japan, they don't believe in zombies, whereas in Haiti they do. So, what comes down to it is, it's the Tinkerbell syndrome, what I call it. So, you have to believe in zombies, that for you to become a zombie. So that's why we don't see zombies in the US either, because the society at large doesn't believe in zombies. Just like, think of it. Yeah. Fair is, you have to sort of believe, society as a general at large, you have to believe in zombies in order for there to be a zombie. Okay, just because we talked about Descartes last time, this isn't a fair description of voodoo, but substance realism. Well, zombies are actually humans in voodoo religion. Humans are composed of five components, and one called destiny. The other two are the big soul and small soul, emotion and individuality, and the other two are body and corpse and something else. And so yeah, there seems to be sort of like when the police was capturing the small soul and body and controlling the zombie. It seems like there seems to be a dichotomy, a mind-body sort of difference. That you sorcerer is able to control the soul, and the body is just kind of working as sorcerer says. And it seems like there is sort of astral zombie that they this spirits of zombies are called astral zombies, and what sorcerer does is to control these astral zombies. And they are often used to dispatch. They often used to kill, to inflict disease on people, to livestock, or destroy harvests. Surprisingly familiar with witchcraft. And also there's a coughing zombie. Like there are apparently so many types of zombies. It's like project monsters. They have so many, depending on how they died or where they are from, they have specific names. So that the ones who died of tuberculosis, it's called coughing zombie, and they keep coughing. So whenever you see zombie watching and coughing, it's probably, you don't want to be around, because even if you have solved, that's not the issue. You have to kind of stay away from it. And also they are said to transform into stones, cows, pigs, or sheep, soul, and magic. And in this way, they are said to eat meat. The carnivores, they eat meat because not in the sense that zombies eat each other or zombies eat human beings as they are, but those zombies are oftentimes turned into sheep, pigs, and those pigs are sliced and sold at the market. And so this is sort of like indirect cannibalism. And what is this? This turning into stones? Like, that seems like there are so many interesting notions here that it doesn't seem to make sense to go all these procedures. It's taking a week to complete this medicine and then turn them into stones. And yeah, so they're interesting stories. Okay. So, before that, actually there is did you know that there was a zombie in Montreal? Actually, like this type of zombie brought back to Montreal in the jail. At the cycle, I think it was 1964 or 7 or 8.